when it's health related, that pulls the rug from under you and you lose all carefree. You're never the same. You've even said that to me and my mom. You go, whatever comes our way, we've got this.
Yep.
You just,
I was positive from the very beginning, always stayed positive. Even if I had doubt, I was positive to you. But I felt positive about it. I felt like we would be okay.
you're going to go through all sorts of things together, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the really difficult times. Be with a person that you want to go through those things with. If that's that person that you want to go through those things with, then that's your person. We were, together 9 years ago to hear the stage 3A melanoma diagnosis. I had an itchy mole that I knew needed to be seen and probably biopsied that I put off. And then I went to the doctor and I did get it biopsied. And then we did need to see a surgical oncologist and we did need to handle it.
We always thought it was suspicious, but you put cream on it for a while.
I'm laughing because I was that idiot 30-year-old that said, I don't have health insurance. I work at a hotel. I don't have health insurance and we're moving and I don't have the means to go to the doctor and pay for it and I'll be fine. And we looked, I remember feeling it or looking at it because it was on my back to look. I was like, what is that? And it itched. And then I knew it wasn't right, but there was not anything that I said to myself, I have to go. You don't ever think it's the worst case is going to happen. And Justin, I don't remember if I told you this or not. We planned a trip to London and I didn't want to go on that trip. I wanted to go on that trip wondering if it was cancerous. I didn't want to go on that trip with the diagnosis.
Right. I think I remember that actually. You did tell me that.
That was our first time. And as soon as we came back, that was at the end of February. As soon as we came back, I had an appointment with my primary care doctor for the first time. I went into that appointment and she said, I'm referring you to the dermatology office. And then I was there a week later. When I went to the dermatologist and I was in the room, the nurse said, well, worst case, it'll be fine, but worst case scenario, it will have spread to your lymph node. I was like, oh, okay, well, no. Worst case scenario happened. It spread to my lymph node. And I think he was talking about life expectancy and what that meant and what stage 3A meant. And I never wanted to hear that. I never wanted to hear life expectancy, survival rate, whatever he was saying. Just because it was his job, I'm not sure. I didn't want to hear that. And we were all just shocked. I went downstairs to kind of grab a coffee and collect our thoughts. And Justin, you were really positive. I didn't know what to think. You were like, we've got this. You even said that to me and my mom. You go, whatever comes our way, we've got this.
Yep. I was positive from the very beginning. Always stayed positive. Even if I had doubt, I was positive to you. But I felt positive about it. I felt like we would be okay. I really did.
Well, what was going through your head?
It was just such a shock at the time. Like, I couldn't believe that I had read a little bit about, just quickly about, cancer and, what that means and everything. And I quickly closed the page on that because I didn't want to read further. And then the next thing I know, that's exactly what Megan's diagnosis was, So I felt hopeless. I felt just terrible. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I started planning for worst case scenario. What would happen if I lost Megan? I started thinking like that, and it's terrible to think like that. But yeah, I mean, I was just really scared above anything, just scared. All those things that I read about were happening to us, and it was a nightmare come true.
It's a different way to live. It teaches you a lot though, but it's a different way to live. It's what happens if me or him, but especially me, something happens to me. It's something that we have talked about. and we're stronger because of it. But we don't talk about it too much, but it's there.
I think my words, I tried to comfort her with some words, but mostly I think it's just being with her, holding her, being next to her, just being with her and being in her presence. 'Cause sometimes I don't say the right thing. So maybe just being with her is the best part.
Justin's positivity and Justin's compassion and just demeanor is very safe and the warmest, kindest heart. And he means it. Everything is very genuine. And he meant everything when I got diagnosed, and that's how he felt, and that's how we were going to live. And that's how I like to live. And so that helped me a lot. You have to you have to both be really together to each other. And you're going to have moments when you're not together, of course. And so at least one of you is together. When I was diagnosed with stage 3A melanoma, my doctor suggested interferon, which was not something I wanted to do. And I got a second opinion and transferred my care over to University of Michigan. And at the same time, I had gotten genetic testing. So I had a CHEK2 gene mutation, like tested positive for. So I had a higher risk of some other cancers. So Michigan's opinion, my team felt surveillance. Every 6 months, I was coming to University of Michigan. I was coming to Ann Arbor to get screened and tested and scanned. And we were very positive through it, but it was a whole different shift because of life, because I was in my mid-30s. So it was just, this is life now.
We just lived our lives the best we could, go to baseball games, do a lot of fun stuff, travel, and just keep busy and really just not think too much about, the diagnosis and everything, and just get on with our lives, which, was easy to do. We've had a lot of fun together. We have our dog. We do a lot of fun things with our dog. We take our dog everywhere we go that we can. We just live our life the best we can, and time in between was good. Yeah, until you get another diagnosis, and then kind of everything stands still.
Right? I mean, we've had 9 years together of a cancer diagnosis. We were, together 9 years ago to hear the stage 3A melanoma diagnosis, and then we managed that for 5 years, and then there was a stage 4. It's adapting and living and learning to live differently and embracing it. This is something I have to embrace because this is part of my life. I don't know when I'll be cancer free, if I will be, but it's okay. I'm going to probably live stable, quote unquote, for many years to come. But if it is worst case, it is worst case. It has been worst case for both of us, and it's something that we work through together. I'll go, I'm living with cancer. Like I live with stage 4 cancer. It's weird. And that's what I tell myself. I say that and I go, it's weird, but it's true.
I don't know if I could do the same thing she does if I had the same diagnosis. I don't know that I would be able to go through the things that she endures. I mean, I know she has to, and she does it, but she does it with a smile. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her. Everything she faces every day.
When I was diagnosed with stage 4 is when immunotherapy started and radiation, and that was really tough. I couldn't even get through the meeting to sign off on immunotherapy because you have to go through the video or something like that. And I just said, sign me up. I didn't want to know anything. I wanted to get treated, and that's how I got through it. I wanted to get treatment, and that's it. I didn't want to know anything. I didn't need to know. I didn't want to know all the details. I didn't want to know the side effects. Like, obviously, okay, pancreatitis, death, diarrhea, obviously. But I have this cancer. I've got to get tests. I've got to get treated. So Justin was really, you stayed through the meeting and handled it. And then you've been by my side so well throughout every treatment. You just don't like the IV part. That's the only thing he has
Yeah.
a hard time with.
It's because they usually have a hard time putting it in you.
Yep. I don't have a port. I have an arm, and they can only use my left arm because my right arm had surgery with lymph node removal. And then I've had radiation, a lot of radiation. And that's been hard because the first time I had radiation, they had to shrink wrap me because it was on my spine and they had to reach a specific part. So it was like, I call it like a steak, like shrink wrapped meat. And so it's very claustrophobic. It's very stressful. So I got a lot of anxiety getting radiation over that. And then I had to do radiation again pretty quickly after that on my tush. And Justin, though, you got me to the appointments, and he's just been there for everything. It's every appointment he takes me. It's just all he does is support. And I don't know your take, Justin, or like when you're watching me get infusions, like when we're there.
Support you.
Well, he's focused on the hospital food.
Yeah, I like hospital food. I like getting milk at the cafeteria.
That's where his happiness is, and the gift shop. If I send him to the cafeteria to get milk,
gift shop is under construction.
But if I say, "Oh, you go to the gift shop and get something," because he likes to shop, that helps him get through things. So I'll say, "Oh, he's getting down or something," and I'll go, "Oh, well, don't you need a new X, Y, and Z?" And he goes, "You're right. I got to shop for it," and it completely changes his mindset.
It's true. I love to shop.
You have to find what makes the other person happy, especially in tough times, and something that can like snap them out of it.
It's usually pretty long that I have to wait, like by myself. So I try to do things to like I would go to the cafeteria just to like occupy my mind.
When I'm in a scan.
When she's in the scan or something, right? When you're in the scan, I just try not to go down a dark hole and just keep positive thoughts and just think, don't think into the distant future, but think of the near future, like today. So just worry about what today is bringing and getting through today, and then tomorrow we'll deal with that when it comes.
But I've learned to really talk to Justin about everything. He knew all the facts, but my worries, my fears, I sometimes didn't want to tell him everything because I didn't want to tell you everything always because I didn't want you to lose sleep over it. I didn't want you to stress over it and have an episode or just stress about it. I didn't want you to worry about it, but part of a relationship and with your person too is relying on them and them taking care of you. And so I've worked through that.
It's definitely heavy on me for sure. Think about everything we've been through and come through. But it makes me feel stronger. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel ready to face it, to face what the future will bring us. It brings out a lot of emotions. It's not just one. She didn't really talk much about the pain. She didn't express the fact that she was in pain, but you could see it in her face. But she was always in discomfort, like whether it was excruciating pain or just discomfort. She was always in some form of pain. And that was a terrible time. That was hard. It was awful to see her like that, and just to think of worst case scenario, you start thinking of the worst things that, where it could go, and what would you do, and what would life be like without her? Total worst case scenario thoughts coming into your mind when you see her like that, because she's just suffering.
I had started treatment and had been in treatment for a few months, and then I got a new spot. I got a new tumor in my butt. Big time, and it got irritated to the point where I was incredibly swollen.
Yeah,
I blew up. My left.
Well, it didn't actually blow up, but it swelled.
It did. It swelled up, and I went to the ER. So me going into the ER, and he took me there, and they did not know what to do with me. All the different doctors from the different teams, the team that did my surgery, the oncology team, they were all giving input, and they all were talking to the ER and saying, try this test, try that test. They didn't know what was going on. So Justin got very worried, and he got very panicked, and it was very hard for me.
One of my biggest fears is that Megan will just get held in the hospital. And like, I thought they were definitely going to keep her that night for God knows how long, but I was just very fearful that they were going to take her away from me.
I was in the ER for 24 hours, and they needed to do all the tests to make sure that I was okay. And everything was fine for my surgery. There were no complications. I really just had a serious tumor in my tush that needed immediate treatment. I needed radiation right away and to continue on immunotherapy. And so the radiation was like magic with it. It was fantastic. But to my point, that's one of the times, because I had gotten sick and Justin saw me at my worst point of not being able to sit up.
I don't think I handled it well. If I could go back and do that over, I would do a lot of things differently. You know, that 24-hour night period. And then I was going to work the next day from no sleep. Anyway.
Well, yeah. And it's because your wife got cancer everywhere, and we don't know what's going on and next steps. And it's scary and it's stressful. Doing, though, very well. And Justin and I recently started a podcast together that we call Between the Scans with M+J. We have conversations we wouldn't normally have. We have conversations with each other about this life that we're in, but this takes it to a different level. And I'm learning what it's like for Justin and what he's going through. I don't think a lot about, because I can't. It's hard for me, but what the other person is going through. We're all of us in this together. There's a patient, but there's also the people with the patient. There's parents, friends, family, all of that. We just we live with it, and I think we do it really well. Justin, right? Don't you?
We did our best today, and that's enough.
That's our yoga. That's we do yoga now. That's part of our daily routine, morning and afternoon.
Our daily affirmation.
Our daily affirmations. And man, what's the morning one?
Oh, I am in love with life.
Yeah, so that's how we start our day. Really helps us, and it's good for our bodies. So, and then Justin has gotten into some other stuff too with softball and everything. So being active and enjoying yourself, it's very important.
I've learned that Megan is one of the toughest women that I've ever met. Like, physically, she can handle needles and tests and MRIs, tight spaces. She does some amazing things. So I've learned how strong she is and how organized she is. She teaches me that to cover up in the sun, take your medication, make sure you get sleep. Yeah, I learned a lot from Megan.
Justin has and manages, a bipolar diagnosis, but you do it well. You have medication and you take care of yourself and you see your doctor. But yes, that was something that we managed and went through together for years. And then we had my cancer diagnosis, and you became my person to take care of everything.
I just had a mole removed that I would never have even gone to go get checked if it wasn't for Megan. So, and I wear my sunscreen all the time. I just played a softball tournament, but I still got some sun, but barely compared to what it would have been. So I covered up. She teaches me that. Check that mole.
I would say no. Yes, check that mole. I would just say that life gets very challenging and really rough, but you've got to give yourself grace and time and patience. And I knew when I met you, Justin, we hit it off. In the first week, we said we love each other. I knew you were my person. You knew I was your person. We knew that. So we at least had that covered, and we were good to go with
Excellent.
that. We just needed to get
That's a
through
big
it.
part of the battle.
That's true. That's true.
Be true to yourself. Be patient with your partner. Be patient with yourself. Be optimistic. Always know that there's a way through it.
It's awful. It's rough. It's going to shake you to your core and shake everything in your insides and outsides. But do not give up hope, faith, or yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself. Keep going. Please advocate for yourself. When the pain is really bad, when it's really the roughest that it is, you're gonna get through it. So just have patience. Just have patience, because you want to wake up and smile and have a good day, and that's what everyone should have, but you got to work on it. And that's what I get to do. I wake up next to you every day.
That's right.